This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by dan'sInkandToner.com. Ink and toner and a whole lot more. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. Well, we're here yet again talking about how to use media in your church, and we talk about all sorts of media. Last week we were talking After Effects, and this week we're talking email campaigns and how to set up an email newsletter for your church where you don't use Outlook mass mail merge crazy business without, we're just not going to get into that. We're going to do it the right way and show you how to do it for free as long as you have your own web server. The other thing we're going to be talking about is the fact that I finally got a new monitor. We finally got 16 by 9 monitors, so Adam doesn't have any crazy weird scaling to do. So when you see full screen of my screen, you're seeing the entire screen of my screen. So I got a new Dell 2409, I think is what it is. It's not the Ultra Sharp, it's the next one down. I paid $250 for it. It's a great deal. It's a great monitor. I know the Ultra Sharp has a lot more features, but it was double. So I actually ended up getting 2 of these. So I'm rocking dual 24s downstairs now. So it's pretty awesome. So, with me as always is the 3 wise men and Jesus. And they're really excited because now they don't even fit on my desk in the basement because the monitors take up all the space. But we have Little Whitey, Colonel Sanders, Dwight Schrute, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. And if I didn't say my name earlier, I'm Brad Zimmerman. So, it's a great episode. We're finally getting some new stuff around here. It's always great to have a new monitor. It makes you feel like your computer's brand new, even though it totally isn't. So, if the 3 wise men and Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, this is normally where the news segment goes. And it's still going to be where the news segment goes, but we decided to rename it Something Old and Something News. Yes, it's cheesy, but I like it. So we're going to show you something that you maybe have heard of or maybe haven't heard of, and something that's brand new out there that I think you guys should pay attention to. So the something old, a while back we talked about tilt shift photography in our inspiration segment, and there's actually a website called tiltshiftmaker.com. And you can go there and upload your photo, and it's got a little WYSIWYG editor that you can make your own tilt shift photos without having Photoshop or anything like that. So if you want to mess around with tilt shift and make some of your photos look like miniatures, head over to tiltshiftmaker.com. The other thing, the new thing, is MediaShout version 4 is in its beta stages. Hopefully we're going to be getting a review copy to show on the show, but if you want to get your first sneak peek at it, you can head over to, here we go. You can head over and check out the MediaShout version 4 YouTube video, and we'll have a link to that on the website where they talk through all the different features and all that kind of stuff. You'll kind of see it behind me right now. So check that out, and also check out their blog as well as follow them up on Twitter. I think it's twitter.com/MediaShout. And they have a lot of info on MediaShout.com/coming soon. So there's something old and something news. Well, this week we're going to be talking about email newsletters. Now, I know this isn't exactly fun worship backgrounds or cool videos or something like that, but we need to communicate well to the people that we're trying to reach and the people that are a part of our bodies, are a part of our churches, our local body. And so, people used to use phone trees, and you sent out mass newsletters via mail or postcards. All of that stuff costs a lot of money. But nowadays, people are using email, which people have been using for a long time. And now email marketing is a great way to get your message to your audience. But a lot of churches are either paying a lot of money to get these services, or they're having to deal with Outlook and doing mail merge and doing it the wrong way, in which they're actually breaking some ICANN laws because ICANN says that if you're sending to more than, I don't know what the low number is, but if you're sending out a mass newsletter, there has to be an unsubscribe button in your newsletter, or else you're actually breaking the law. And so we want to help you do this the right way, and the way we're going to do that is via PHP List. So on phplist.com, you'll see all of the features. You'll see that they have great features like double opt-in, scheduling, RSS, list segmentation, click tracking, attachments, and even bounce management. Now, if you take these services and you match them up against some of the best paid for services out there, you're going to see that this really is a great deal. So we're going to go check out some of the best paid for ones out there. MailChimp.com is one of the best. It probably has one of the most iconic logos that you'll see on the web. It's always in posts about great icons. MailChimp is a great service. They have great reports and tracking and all of that stuff, and that's where they really do beat out PHP List. They have such great tracking of what's going on. And then you can also check out CampaignMonitor.com, and Campaign Monitor again is a great solution. It's pretty cheap. You're only paying $5 plus 1 cent per customer. So you're paying $5 to send it out and then 1 cent per customer, and there's no annual fees or anything like that. And MailChimp actually does have a free service, but it's for very small lists. So if you wanted to set up a list that was just for the worship team, this may work for you. But if you're trying to send out a list for any normal sized church, you're going to have a lot more people. Our church is a pretty small church, I would consider it. We have roughly 250 to 280 adults that come to a gathering, and we have 189 people signed up on our email newsletter. So it's quite a lot of people on the newsletter versus how many people are showing up on a Sunday morning. So let's get into PHP List. You'll see here we have downloads. We're going to download this file. We're going to download the zip to our desktop, and it may take a moment to let this download, but we're just going to download that, and then I'll show you what's next. So now that we've downloaded PHP List, you'll extract the file, and you'll see that we have a folder here with a bunch of different documents. It's got some README files and public HTML scripts and some different things. All we're going to worry about is the public HTML folder, and this contains everything that we need. It's got the index as well as our lists. Now the first thing we're going to do, this is a newer install, and we're going to set the default to Firefox and not IE. Apply. Let's just double check. Okay, so you'll probably want to replace this document with your own website, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to worry about that because, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to go into the list folder, and then we're going to go into config. Then you're going to see a config PHP script. Now, I'm going to be using Notepad++ to edit this, which is a free download. I think it might only be for Windows, but you can use any text editor. So I'm just going to do open with Notepad++, and you'll see all the different comments and that kind of stuff. And this is the configuration file for Notepad for PHP List. And you'll see in here there's a lot of different things. And the first thing it's going to ask is, what is your MySQL database server? Now, most people on shared server settings, so if you're on a shared host via DreamHost or something like that, most likely your database host is going to be localhost. In my case, we're going to be actually uploading this to Media Temple's grid server, and so our settings will be different, but I'll change that a little bit later. We don't need to see that now. Now, what we do need to do is create a database name. So I'm going to quick go to Media Temple, and I'm going to log in and create a new database, and I'll show you how to do that. So I've logged into PHPMyAdmin, and we're just going to quickly make a new database. So we're going to just call this database Church Media Design. And we'll do create. And now we've created the database, and it's going to ask us to make some different fields. If you're not familiar with PHPMyAdmin, it should be in your control panel of your website. Your web server does need to have MySQL and PHP running on it, and you'll be able to find that out from your host. So that's how you do that. I'm actually running a local server just to show you how to do this. I actually already have this Church Media Design database already set up. And so we're going to go and enter in what our database name is in our sheet here. So database name is going to be this here. And we'll just copy this guy. And we'll just paste that right into here. So this is the name of that database. So that's what our database is here. Now we have to put in our username and password. I'll put in ours, but you'll just have to put in whatever the username and password is, usually to log into your system. But if you need that information, contact your host or check that email you got when you signed up, and that information should be in there. So now we'll move down into some of the other preferences. Past username and password. So if you have multiple installations, you can give your installation a name. So let's say your website, you're going to do multiple installs of a certain PHP list. You can put it as different things. You can do a table prefix, which this comes into handy. So this is basically the naming of our table. So we'll go back here and look, and I already have a table called blog, episode, links, message board. But now when this adds in all the new tables, it's going to give a prefix of PHP list underscore and then the other stuff, so that it doesn't write over any other tables that are currently there, and we know what these tables are for. We know all of these tables are for PHP list. Now you can see there's a user table prefix, and then you can set where the root of this is going to be found. So it's going to be found at your website /lists, or your website /list/admin is where you're going to go to log in. Now you can change this, you just can't change the admin. So we could say we want this to go /newsletter or something like that. We're going to leave it at lists by default. Now the only other setting that we'll want to double check in here, we can flip through here. There's a lot of different settings in here. But that's basically, actually, we'll touch on what we need to fix later, but that's all we need to worry about right now. So we're just going to hit save on that, and we're done with that configuration. So now what we need to do is we need to open up a FTP program. We're going to use FileZilla. This is an open source program. Again, we're trying to give you as many free and open source programs to use, and we're going to use FileZilla to upload this to our server. So we're just going to go in here, make a connection, and upload that to our server. So I've logged in, and right now you can see we're slowly uploading, and you don't need to upload anything except this list directory. And this contains everything for PHP list. And since we've already messed with our config.php file, we don't really need to upload anything new. And so as soon as all of these files are uploaded, we're going to actually go in and start configuring PHP list. So we took a little break there quick while all the files were uploading. It actually was a decent sized break because we had over 1,300 files in that folder that needed to be uploaded to make this system work. And even though it was only 9 megs worth of files, it still takes a long time to get all of those written. So just be prepared for a little bit of time to take place when you're uploading those. So now that we have those uploaded, we're now going to go over, we'll open up a new tab, and we're going to go to www.ChurchMediaDesign, and we're going to go /list/admin. And you'll see the PHP list, and you'll see PHP main admin page, and it will say error, database has not been initialized, go to initialize database to continue. Our language is set to English, so we're going to do initialize database. And when we click on that, you're going to see this whole list of, it's initializing all of these different things, and then we're going to, it's going to tell us about how it's been successful. We can subscribe to an announcement list to make sure we know when new versions of PHP list comes out. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to continue with PHP list setup. So now, this document requires us to log in, and the default login is admin, and the password is PHP list, and it's listed right there. We're going to hit enter, and we're going to log in. So now it says, okay, we've initialized the database. Now we got to continue configuring. So we're going to change the admin password. We're going to go here, and we can change the email address that's linked up to this. So I'm just going to do Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv. And our password is going to now be, CMD.tv. We'll hit save. Now, for any of you people who are thinking about hacking into my PHP list, I'm not dumb enough to leave that password the same. So don't even think about it. So our changes have been saved. Now we're actually going to go back. We're going to hit resend. We're going to go back to this page that has all the different things we need to do. So we're going to go configure our general values. We'll go there. And we're going to, so here's our web address, which is without the HTTP, the domain, and then the person in charge of your system, one email address. And we're going to edit that, and we're going to change this to Brad. And we'll hit save. So now that's Brad at. And you'll see in here, there's when we went to edit, you'll see how it says domain. It's actually using saving values and then using basically like variables to pull up all this information. So that's where domain, website, all of that stuff. That's why it said that. There's a lot of different things in here. Who gets reports? We can edit this and we can say Brad wants to get the reports. And we'll keep going through here. The email address for your system's messages, we'll do no reply at ChurchMediaDesign.tv. We don't want people replying to that email address. What do the system, where do they appear to come from? We're going to say they appear to come from, let's say, the CMD TV newsletter. Whoops. And we'll hit save changes. So it's coming from the CMD TV newsletter. There's a lot of different things we can edit in here. You'll see this is where our subscribe pages and our unsubscribe pages are found. All of those kind of things. Now you actually can see this is the message that someone will receive when they subscribe to the newsletter. So almost welcome to our newsletter. Hopefully you have subscribed to our email newsletter to the following newsletter, and it will list out the newsletter there. If this is correct, please check the following link to confirm your subscription. Without this confirmation, you will not receive any newsletters. And then it'll have the confirmation URL. If this is not correct, you will not be doing anything. Simply delete this message. So basically, this is the double opt-in. They'll get an email saying confirm being a part of our newsletter. And then unsubscribe newsletter, and a lot of other things in here that we can edit. There's actually what the public pages look like and a lot of different things, but those are the basic things that we need to get edited in there. So now we're going to go back to our configure options. We'll hit resend, which is okay. And now we're going to configure our attributes. Now this is actually what info do we want to receive from people? What do we want to be a part of our list? So we're going to put name in here, and we'll say that this is a text line. We're not going to have a default value. And is this attribute required? Is this something you have to have? And we're going to say yes. And we'll do save changes. So now we have that one. Now we can add more if we want to. We could maybe say, we could do birth date. And we'll not have this be required, and we'll do check a date. There we go. We'll hit save changes, and now they'll be able to select their birthday, and it's not required. Now, so we've given a couple more attributes, and we'll go back, hit resend. It's not a big deal that you're resending that information. Oops, actually it was in that case. Let's delete this guy. So we just went back to, we added an extra attribute, and we'll actually be able to delete that a little bit later, and I'll show you how to do that. But right now we're on page equals setup, and we'll be able to create lists, and we'll be able to create our subscribe pages. So first we're gonna, and I actually just went up here and I went to page and I went to setup to get back to this page. We're gonna go to create lists, and we're gonna add a list, and we're gonna call this list our CMD TV newsletter. And this is what people will actually see when they go to subscribe for your page. So you don't really want this name to be something funky. And this is our main newsletter. And we're going to check this box if it's active. and it's the owner as admin. We can actually add more users who can log in here, but we have that. And now we can go back to our setup page, and we're going to create a subscribe page. So we're going to add a new one, and basically we'll say the title of this page is subscribe, and subscribe to one or more of our mailing lists. Here's the header and footer. Here's the thank you page after you've submitted it. Subscribe to the selected newsletter. So this is where we have some different choices. You can offer a choice, default for text, or don't offer a choice, default for text, don't offer a choice, default for HTML. What I would suggest is to offer a choice, but offer a choice for HTML, or for text. So basically they're going to be defaulted to getting an HTML email, but if they want to, they can click a checkbox saying they want a text only email. And here's the required request information, all of that kind of stuff. And now we can select what attributes we want to be a part of this. Now we can go and say we want the name and we want the birth date, and we want those a part of it, and we want this for the CMD TV, and we can save and activate. And so now we can go and view, and now we have this field here, and we can select our birth date from this list and pull that stuff up, and we can actually enter in all that information and subscribe for a newsletter. So we'll just go subscribe Brad at, actually we'll do ChurchMediaDesign@gmail.com. We're going to confirm that, ChurchMediaDesign@gmail.com. And our birth date, my birthday, is 11/10/1983, which I don't even see in the list. That's a problem. Wow, well that is a problem. So we're just going to say 2006 for right now, because I don't know why it's not showing anymore in the list. But our name is Brad Zimmerman. Okay, and we're going to subscribe to the selected newsletter. Our email address did not match because I can't spell. Okay. And now we're going to receive an email. So I'm going to go over to gmail.com, and I'm going to log in, and we'll see that we got the subscribe email, and I'm going to confirm that real fast so that we can see that we have and okay, so we went to send out those test subscribe, or get someone to subscribe to the newsletter, but I went and checked the email and I never received anything. So I sat here for quite a while trying to figure out what was going wrong. And after I searched the config file, I found some stuff under the debugging and informational, and it says if test is true, not 0, it will not actually send any messages, but display what would have sent. And so right now it's running in test mode, and so down on line 191 you need to set it to 0 and then hit save. The other thing that I did while I was in here is I just shut off the HTML editor. There's a pre-built-in HTML editor, and I did it right here. It's using the FCK editor, and I disabled it by changing this value from 1 to 0 as well. So now we will re-upload this config file, and we will go back to our PHP list, and we'll log in. I'm actually going to log out real quick. Click here to log in. We'll use our same login and password and hit enter. And we're going to just test to make sure the subscribers are getting that. So I'm going to go to users, and I'm actually going to delete Church Media Design Gmail off the list and hit OK. So they're totally gone. So now we're going to go to subscribe pages. We'll hit view, and we are going to sign up ChurchMediaDesign@gmail.com. ChurchMediaDesign@gmail.com. We'll call this Brad Zimmerman. And email address did not match because I still can't spell, or it selected the wrong one when I was choosing my autofill. Okay, so we'll subscribe to that one. Now I'm going to go over to my Gmail account and we'll refresh, and it's already there. Request for our confirmation. It's asked us if we want to sign up for the email, and all is well. So now we can send out a test message. We'll do that real quick before we finish off this episode, and then in the next episode, we'll show you how to really do this. So we're going to go to send a test or send a message, and we're just going to send out a quick test message. I'll just put the subject as our first newsletter. And I got all sorts of weird capitals. We'll just say this is Brad or CMD.tv. And here is our first message. And we'll go down here and we're going to send this to Church Media. Actually, real quick, I need to confirm that I want to be a part of this. I have now confirmed. So now when I go to try send this to Church Media Design at gmail.com, send test message, and it says that it is successfully sent a test message. We'll go back to our inbox and you'll see our first newsletter. And here's our first newsletter. We can go back. We actually already got our welcome email. So it looks like it's working pretty well. We had a couple hiccups in there, but that's one thing for you to know, to go find in that config page to make sure everything's working right. Make sure it's not in test mode, and you can shut off that HTML editor because we're going to use our own HTML editor to make this all work right. So on next week's episode, we're going to send some real emails, get our list all set up, and configure how all of our subscribe pages all look so it looks more like our website. So make sure to tune in to next week's episode. Well, this week's freebie doesn't come from me. This actually comes from someone that I've met via Twitter and seen around on Flickr groups, and his name's Zach Fonville, I think is how he says his last name. We're actually going to be interviewing him on March 27th on our live show, and he's got a huge pack of backgrounds to use for your church. Now, these aren't motion backs, but these are great still backgrounds. He's got a really great design taste. He actually works at Fellowship Bible Church in Little Rock, Arkansas. You can also check him out at zachfonville.com, and his nickname is Red Ferris Wheel. And I have no idea why, but we'll find out on the live show. So check out some of these backgrounds. Go to the website, download them. They'll be in widescreen and full screen, just like normal. So make sure to check those out and download and add to your arsenal. Well, this week's inspiration comes to you from, Smashing Magazine. They have lots of great stories, and one thing I've always loved is great intros to TV shows and movies. And so they actually have 20 brilliant TV show title sequences, and you can check out, they also have links to 30 unforgettable movie opening sequences, but there's ones in here from Mad Men, United States of Terra, and the one that I'm going to let you guys check out right now is for the show called The Fringe. It's brand new this season. And this title is actually made by, I wish I could call him a friend, but someone we know well. His name's Andrew Kramer, and he runs videocopilot.net, and their crew made this Fringe opening. So check out this inspiration. Well, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsor of DansInkandToner.com, Ink and Toner, and a whole lot more. Now, Dan's Ink and Toner, you've been hearing me talk about this a lot, and this is a great site for you to check out for your church. You're going to save a lot of money. Talk to that administrative assistant, talk to your pastor, talk to whoever you need to, so that you can save some money in one area of your budget you really don't want to waste in, so that maybe you can have a little bit more money to buy maybe the Adobe Creative Suite. because I'm guessing most of you guys are going to save over $1,000 a year on ink, because you're going to get your ink and toner at cost. You're going to give it delivered to you next day from Dan. Now, if you don't want to mess around with buying ink and worrying about all that stuff, there is a leasing option that you can do. So you can lease through him. You can get all of your leasing needs taken care of, and it's full service, and they take care of everything. So that's a great option. So head over to danzinkandtoner.com. You can click on wholesale, and you'll find out all about the plan details, what it has to offer, and you can sign up for the wholesale program, and make sure to enter the promo code of Church Media Design and submit that, and Dan will get in touch with you, and you're going to get a 3-month risk-free trial of the program. It'll be great. So head over to danzinkandtoner.com danzinkandtoner.com and check out the wholesale program. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. Next week, we're going to continue that series on newsletters and how to implement PHP List more fully into your church's website, as well as how to send out a message and make it look pretty decent, and how to get a start if you have no clue about HTML. We're going to try to cover it all for you. So look forward to that. Hopefully, if you guys already know how to do some of those things, start using PHP List, put it into action. But I'm so glad you guys could tune in and enjoy the 24-inch monitor, because I'm excited about it. But also, I want to encourage you guys to tune in for our live shows. Now, we haven't been able to schedule guests very far in advance. We actually just did a live show recently with Sam Softs from lifechurch.tv, and he works on the Digerati team there. And that was a really cool interview, and you got to see a sneak peek and kind of behind the scenes of what goes on over at lifechurch.tv. But our next interview is going to be with Trent Armstrong from Igniter Media, Worship House Media. He works with the whole RT Media group. So that's going to be on March 13, and you'll find that at mogulus.com/CMD_TV. So make sure you go check that out. It's going to be a great one. As well as on March 27, we're going to be interviewing Zach Fonville from Little Rock, from Fellowship Bible Church in Little Rock, Arkansas, who's been doing our freebies for us for the next few weeks. So make sure to tune in for those 2 live shows. Also, if you guys want to make a background for the show, we're still trying to see if you guys have any interest. We're trying to lock down a background for season 2 of the show. So if you guys have any thoughts or ideas, or you want to make a background, head over to the website, check out the dimensions, and make us a background. Also, if you want to keep in touch with us, let us know how we're doing, how we can help you, any questions you have. My email again is brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/CMDTV. And you can hit Adam up at adam@ChurchMediaDesign.tv and AdamCMDTV on Twitter. So those are a couple ways to stay in touch with us. So as for me and the 3 wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later.